Success. We're back with Massachusetts Senate Minority Leader Bruce Tarr, and Senator Tarr, welcome back. You traversing this early fall snow, okay?
I am. Thanks, Rick. It's great to be with you, and it really is interesting to look out the window and see an early version of winter happening around us. I've been a little bit surprised at how hard it's been snowing.
I love it. I love it. I got my skis. I'm getting my skis waxed up and ready to go. So I'm getting pumped. Senator, we got a lot on our agenda here today as we end October, Halloween coming up, and let's start with things that are on your list of import here to impart to me and us. Starting with something called a food security fund that's coming out of the legislature.
So something that's really important, Rick, and this is more of an administrative thing than a legislative thing, but the administration early on in the pandemic understood that it was important to make sure people had food and that we met their nutritional needs. And one of the things about the pandemic is that it's taught us all the importance of having local distribution systems and locally produced food. And so a grant program was put together with a lot of guidance and interaction from legislators. I was involved in this. Representative Ferranti was involved, as well as our mayor. And we put together, working with the Baker-Polito administration, a $36 million grant program to be able to support our food infrastructure. And what was just released was the fourth round of those grants. It's about $5.9 million. And the most significant thing I think about this round, Rick, is that there is money in it, about $1.6 million to be exact, for the commercial fishing industry. And one of the things that we've been arguing all along is that this is a prime opportunity to help the commercial fishing industry help us, because they've lost a lot of the places where their food would normally go to, where the fish would go to, because of the downturn in restaurants, because we haven't been able to go to restaurants as much as we used to. And so the idea is, let's make a transition. Let's not forget about the restaurants, but let's open up some direct-to-consumer markets as well. And so in this grant round, there is money for that, and some of that money is coming right here back to Cape Ann. In fact, Miss Trish, Enzo Russo, and the Russo Fishing Company, they'll be getting about $95,000 of that money to be able to help continue fishing and diversify their product offerings. And also the Open Door Food Pantry, which is such a great resource for all of us on Cape Ann, will be getting about $201,000 to be able to expand their capacity to help serve people in need. And of course, there's a lot of need during the time of the pandemic. So one other thing that I would point out is that in terms of the fishing industry, we had put together a letter, and that letter got signed by representatives and senators throughout Massachusetts and listed every single application that was made by someone in the fishing industry for assistance. And here's what's unique. Usually legislators will write letters for things that are in our own districts. In this case, all of the legislators that signed this letter signed in support of all of the projects being submitted by the commercial fishing industry. And it was a very important show of unity on behalf of our commercial fisheries, and is delivering results. With $1.6 million so far, there's still a lot of money left in this program, so there'll be more grant rounds coming, and we expect we may see some more positive results as well.
Well, that's good news all the way around. I love it. Going to the next topic, Senator, we all know that COVID across the country has spiked, and I use that word in quotes because I'm not exactly sure what it means. And I know that in Massachusetts, the red zones, not all red zones are equal. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what's going on in Massachusetts.
Well, that's actually a really good question, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to speak to it a little bit. So last week we had 77 communities in the red zone in Massachusetts, and this week we have 121. So there's been a significant increase. And generally, when you're in the red zone, it means that you have more than 8 cases per 100,000 people. So it's a per capita measurement. But what's new is that the map, for the first time this week, identifies clusters and gives us some sense of why we're seeing those number of cases. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So in our Senate district, we have North Andover. And in North Andover is Merrimack College. And Merrimack College had a very significant outbreak of COVID-19. So the community said, this does not reflect the entire community. This is a very concentrated situation. We should have some designation that reflects that. And in addition to that, we also have in our Senate district, Middleton. And in Middleton, we have the Middleton Correctional Facility, the jail. Mm-hmm. And there was also an outbreak there, but not an outbreak in the rest of the community. And so what the new map does is use asterisks and provides additional information to explain why particular clusters exist. And here's one of the things that's coming from that information, Rick, that's very concerning, is that a lot of clusters are related to household gatherings. So people getting together in someone's home and that leading to the transmission of COVID-19. And that's really important because we are now in a season where we tend to gather together in our homes. I mean, we look outside today, you know, it's winter. Number one, we just naturally gather together more inside in the winter than we do at other times of the year. And we've got holidays coming. And so it's really concerning and a really compelling reminder of why we need to take precautions and make sure to do the things that are so simple but effective in terms of wearing a mask, maintaining social distance, sanitizing surfaces, making sure that we don't touch our face when we may have been exposed with our hands to something that might be transmitting the virus. A whole host of simple things. But all of what we're seeing in terms of the indicators, and you can see all of this, by the way, on mass.gov, all of these things are really, really a call to action to do the things we need to do to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
You're killing me because that means we won't be having a big housewarming party at your house, I guess, this weekend.
We'll have to push it off a little bit, Rick. But one thing that will be happening, I know over the weekend, is a lot of people will be celebrating Halloween. And if you go to mass.gov, and I'm looking down because I want to make sure that I get it right, but if you go to mass.gov/Halloween, there's guidance from state government, particularly from the Department of Public Health, about how to do that safely.
And I know that the various towns, I've gone to the various town websites and city websites, Salem, Ipswich, Newburyport, Gloucester, and they are also doing the same thing. They are also posting the best way to be safe. And I think that most people I've talked with, at least anecdotally, want the kids to be able to have Halloween and do it safely. And I know that what we're doing is we're making up bags, individual bags of goodies and candies. And these are store-bought wrap candies. And we're going to leave them outside so if you can just grab a bag and you've got like a whole bunch of stuff in that bag. And I know other people are trying to do it too. But you know, speaking of kids, Senator, in our warm-up prior to the conversation this afternoon, we talked about the stress of COVID and how the school situation with kids in school or out of school or at home with the parents or whatever it might be. These are strange times. And I think you were mentioning that there is some help available.
There is, Rick, and first of all, I just want to point out, I'll be by for one of those bags, and you'll be able to tell because I'll be dressed as a senator.
Okay.
Okay. But it is, you know, over the last couple of weeks, I've talked to a number of pediatricians, had a good conversation yesterday with a number of people at Beth Israel Lahey Health about the impact of COVID-19 and isolation. And so, you know, kids not being able to be together in school the way they might normally be, and the need for all of us to have that human contact and interaction that's being deprived by this terrible virus. And so we all have a lot of concern about mental health and making sure that we take care of each other. And one of the ways that that can happen, and I was reading about this today in the most recent release from Department of Public Health, is a website, and it's at handhold.org, actually handholdma.org, so handholdmass.org, where families can go to get some assistance and get some guidance about dealing with this, because it is one of the things that maybe we don't think about because we look every day at cases and the number of deaths from COVID-19, but it is equally as important. Our mental health is as important as our physical health, and we certainly want to be able to help kids through this difficult time because they're not in school the way that they were. They're not interacting with teachers and professionals and others. And most of all, they're not interacting with their peers in the same way. And so this is a great resource that I want to make sure that people know about.
Well, Senator, once again, thank you for your time, and happy Halloween. Be safe this weekend and always.
Well, thanks, Rick. Thanks for the chance to talk this afternoon. And I'll be by. Just keep on the lookout. I'll be there for a bag of candy, and I promise I'll only take one.
I'll have your name on it.